afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the International Racing Series for Season 14. And we are here for another season of Formula 1 2025 racing. New names, old drivers, with new teams. It's definitely going to be a sight to behold, including our current champion, F1 Connor, switching from the Mercedes to the Ferrari. A different sight, to say the least. But also, it seems like nobody was in their cars last year, except for Kiers, but apart from that, everybody else is in a different car for Season 14 of the International Racing Series. We're just going to mess with the audio level slightly. And it seems like the Mercedes driver of it is Tino Tiberian in the Mercedes, was in the Sauber for the majority of last year before stepping down for a little while, is back for this season and driving for the Mercedes outfit. The previous Mercedes outfit of F1 Connor and DBK, they did pretty well in the constructors last year. Let's see if Tino can turn on the turbos, as he will be the first driver of this season to start a qualifying lap. Going to turn one, pushing the limits as much as he can. He's got a few cars ahead that needs to do outlaps, and they all need to get out of the way. The Sauber isn't, and it's a collision with the Sauber almost immediately, and Tina's not going to be happy with that. Hella High gets a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Kiers now. And that was a collision with Aliodib, who just wasn't looking at his mirrors. F1 Connor is continuing on his lap at the moment. The strategy usually being medium for the majority of corners and then overtake for the straights. Last season's champion in the International Racing Series, making his way through the tight and twisty Sector 2. Lelis has left the session. That's not good. Connor deploys the DRS in this final sector, which only contains about 4 corners actually. And Connor will come across the line now in the Ferrari. And we'll say a 128.4. That is the benchmark that everyone has to go for. He'll be the next one to come across the line. DBK with a 30.8. The Sauber of Hayden is coming through the final corners now, as we see Elmo go with a 28.4, matching Connor almost. Only half a tenth behind. Hayden with a 29.3. Next one will be Lucas. Luco with 29.7. Bacchus in the Aston Martin at 29.3. And where's Mazur? Mazur is in the pits. He won't be setting a lap. Bezestio with 28.6. Next one to come across the line will be Nemo Donster. Donster with a 30.6. Nemo with a 31.5. Pink Eye Penguin coming through the final sectors now. Was competing for the Drivers' Championship last season. Now in the Haas. Let's see if it's a difference this season. It is. It's a 27.921. The fastest lap by almost 5 tenths. The only man into the 27s at the moment. Let's see. We see a jump up. I believe that was from from someone. I think it was hella high, actually. Hella high at 29.288. The Williams doing very well at the moment with a 3 and 4 from Elmo and Bezestio. Here's now not going to set a lap time. Jacek has been was incredibly quick last season. Was competing for podiums and wins not too long ago. And now has to navigate through the Williams. And so the Williams gets out of the way. Through the final couple of corners. What's this lap time going to be? Coming across the line. It is not quickest because almost immediately both drivers have set the exact same lap time in this short qualifying session at 27.921. Pink Eye Penguin is still on provisional pole because he set that lap time first. Jacek, not 1,000th of a difference, sets the exact same lap time. So who's coming to finish that lap at the moment? We see Pink Eye Penguin coming into the pits, the McLaren coming into the pits. Alio Dib coming through the final corner now. What's the lap time going to be? It's going to be a 29.5, 2 tenths away from his teammates, but not too far away. Hayden and Backus, I just noticed as well, have set the exact same lap time. The drivers who have not set a lap time yet, one of them being Tino Tiberian. Tino Tiberian in the Mercedes. At the start of last season was competing for podiums. Now in a new era. He got blocked on his first attempt by Alio Dib. Now there's not too many cars around setting their push laps now. It's a 26.3 in the first sector. Navigating through the tight and twisty second sector. His teammate just starting a lap now as well. Both Mercedes haven't set a lap time just yet. Through towards the end of the second sector, has to get a decent exit out of the hairpin. Opening up the DRS. There's a Red Bull in front of him on an outlap. But as Tino comes across the line with no more ERS left in the tank, it will be third place with a 27.9. 20 thousandths away from first and second place. But it's good enough for third. Let's see how his teammate is doing. He's invalidated. Mizor not setting a lap time in this qualifying session with 9 minutes left to go. Kiers now with a decent first sector. His teammate at the moment is 12th. Towards the end of last season, he was setting decent lap times and even competing for wins, especially around Saudi Arabia not too long ago. 8 minutes, everybody out for their second time lap. And well, you can just see how many cars there are. Be careful not to get an invalidation at the exit of that corner. The white line shows the track limits. Coming through the final corner. Kiers now will set the fastest lap with a 27.662. It's enough for provisional pole position. Connor invalidating. He'll be the next one to come across the line. It's definitely one of the Ferraris. DBK 2-3 times up. Improves, but not in position. Nemo, no, nowhere close yet. The Haas or Pink Eye Penguin starting a lap. Hayden coming across the line now. It's enough for 5th place. He's improved by over a second. He goes up into 5th with 28.267. Mizor hasn't set a lap time yet with 7 minutes to go, and he won't set a lap time further, at least a decent one. It's only 18th with a 34.936. DRL Naismith is another one to not set a lap time just yet. We see Bezestio go up into P5, beating out Hayden at the moment. Naismith coming across the line. And it will be enough for 9th place, 2 turns behind Elmo, but ahead of Lucas. Next one to come across the line will be Alio Dib to start a lap. DBK finishing, but he's down on his lap time, still in 16th place. And coming into the pits almost immediately, Pink Eye Penguin. He's not improving. He goes back into the pits because he's invalidated. That makes sense. RX VMAX currently in 18th place with a 31.4. Coming through the final corner now on hot lap mode with a slight improvement in lap time, but not enough to gain the position. Hayden going into the pits. That's while the Haas is starting a lap, or is it finishing a lap? Elmo starting a lap now. Caution in sector 3. That's a person on their out lap. No stress there. Caution in sector 2. There's been a little bit of issues with one of the Alpines. I believe that's Andy Mack, who is going extremely slowly. What's happened there? No damage from the car, but definitely a very slow on the racing line, it looks like. 4 minutes and 49 seconds left to go. Caution in sector 2. That's a McLaren going slowly. That's hella high. Letting a Haas through of Nemo. Let's see. Nemo has front wing damage. He won't be continuing any further with this lap. Still has enough time to go into the pits and come back out on brand new fuel and tyres. Maybe the next one to come across the line, I do wonder. Alu Dibber's invalidated. Jessek on the lap in sector 2. Tino Tiberian invalidated on his lap. He won't be going any quicker. Jessek is going 2 tenths faster, 2.5 tenths faster. He needs to gain a little bit more if he wants to beat Kiers, who has the fastest lap time. The potential is there in the Alpine. It's all equal cars, mind you. But as Jessek comes across the line, it will be fastest by 3 hundredths of a second at 27.633. It beats Kiers now. Connor invalidating, will be coming into the pits. Aliadib also coming into the pits. DBK on out now. That's the next one to come across the line. Pink Eye Penguin will be starting one now. Kiers now has just started one. And it's just started, I believe, to rain. It started to rain in Singapore. Connor's already retired from the session. There's no way that the drivers can go faster now. Jessek, with the lap time, with under 3 minutes to go, some drivers will try to complete their current laps hella high, including being one of them. But it doesn't look like if their first lap was good, with the rain slowly coming down, it will hamper some of these qualifying lap attempts, and Hella High isn't going to improve on this lap. Lela's coming across the line, currently in 14th place with 29.4888. Comes into the pits, won't be improving. Backass coming into the pits, won't be improving. Mizor decides to come across the line. Nice 2 laps, nice 1 2. How are you? I'm doing good, thank you for asking. Jessek currently on provisional pole, and it's becoming very, very likely that he will stay there. As you see Kears retire, Connor, last season's champion, retire. Hella High is invalidated, DBK has invalidated. Bezestia retires in the pits. That's the Williams current. Oh no, he's retired out on track in the wall, it looks like. Let's see who it is. Donster coming through that section now, I believe. And yeah, that's Bezestio in the wall. Everyone except for Tino in the top 6 has retired from this race. Top 7 now. The track getting more and more slick. DBK retiring. Hella High retiring. And I think it's safe to say that this is the end of the qualifying session. Jessek is your man on pole position. Kears now in 2nd. Pink Eye Penguin in 3rd. Tino Tiberian in 4th. And that is a Mercedes crashing into the wall at high speed. Big gap between 2 and 3. Yeah, decently large gap. 3 tenths almost. And then we have Connor in P6, Hayden in P7, Elmo in 8th, Aliodin P9, Naismith in 10th, Luco in 11th. Hella High in P12, Backass in P13, 2 Aston Martins 13 and 14th, Letters in P14, the Dunster in P15, DBK in 16th, Nemo in 17th, RXV Max in 18th, Andy Mack in 19th, and Mizora in last place. Now, 20 seconds. Everyone says that, but it's the lap time that you set that counts. I don't care how much you thought you could improve. It's the lap time that you set, and if whatever lap time you set, that's what it was. Going into the race now, we have, what is it, 31 laps of racing around one of the, I guess, longest races on this calendar. And with that, it looks like to be dry. So we have, let's see how we're looking, because around Singapore, it's more looking like a one stop, anything else. We're readying up in about 2-3 minutes now. The downtime here is for drivers to allow themselves to change setup, aspects of the setup, change fuel load, change strategy, which for the majority might be a 1-stop, a 2-stop. I have no idea. The pit speed limit around here is 37 miles per hour, I believe, or somewhere close to that. But we'll see what happens. And night's race here. No formation lap. So it's immediately 5 lights for everyone on the grid. Just waiting now. We've got 1 minute until every single driver readies up. The strategy around here should be simple enough, medium to hard. Safety cars around Singapore are a regular occurrence, and with a full grid here today for the first round of the season, let's just say that it wouldn't be the most surprising thing to happen. Alright, drivers readying up. And at any moment now, they'll be getting underway. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. And we get underway for the first race of the season here at the International Racing Series. Jesek maintains the lead. Kiers now maintains second place. Pink Eye Penguin around the outside in third. Tries to defend from Tino. Bezestio and F1 Connor going side by side into turn 4. And Bezestio getting the better of Connor. No, he hasn't. Bezestio making a small mistake. And Connor up into 5th place. Elmo and Hayden swapping positions. The Sauber of Aliodib going down the inside of Elmo, losing a position on the first lap. Multiple positions changing. Naismith and Lellers going side by side. And Naismith in 12th place now, losing a couple of positions at the start of this race. But at the front, it's Jesek who has taken and kept the lead around Singapore. Bacchus currently behind Lucas. It's extremely close towards the rear of the grid. Let me just change that. And it seems like Aliodib having a little bit of phasing issues. That allows Elmer to go through. Let's have a look at every one of the tyres now at the moment. DBK coming into the pits, as well as Hella High, presumably for damage at the start of lap 1. F1 Connor, Hayden, Aliodib and Luco all starting on hard compound tyres. So did Nemo as well. It's getting close to the front of the pack. Here's now staying behind of Jesek. Jesek in the race lead. It's all pretty close in the top 6, top 7 even at the moment. The only person out of the DRS at the moment is Elmo, who is 1.2 seconds now behind Hayden at the moment. Luco also being out of DRS. Not by much, mind you. So, after pitting, DBK and Hella High all the way out at the back. Hella High onto new hard compound tyres. DBK on fresh softs. On the DRS straight. Keir's now not close enough for an overtake just yet. Lellers close to his teammate. 1/10 splitting the two cars. Backas also extremely close to Luco. Backas is going to feel slightly hampered because, well, now the Aston Martin teammates are going to go side by side. Backas has to take avoiding action. And Lellers gets past of his teammate. Nemo into the pits. Tino overtaking Pink Eye Penguin at turn 3, at the exit turn 3. Pink Eye Penguin, Tino all having DRS. Naismith immediately getting a 3-second time penalty on lap 3. That's an achievement. Lellers getting extremely close, going down the inside of Luco. Luco making a train. Because, well, the Sauber is 1.9 seconds behind. 1.9 seconds ahead, I mean. And the Aston Martin teammate of Backas will be looking to get a move done on the Red Bull as well. Luco on hard compound tyres. No, there's a bit of contact with the barrier. And Backas losing a position to Donster because of that. Let's look at P6. Possessio behind Connor. Connor starting on the hard compound tyres, not having the best start in the world. Kept his position, but not gaining anything. The medium tyre runners will have the best pace on the outset. The hards will come into their own as Donster and Luco going side by side. And Luco cutting the corner. And Donster's not going to be happy with that. As, well, it looks like... Does Donster have front wing damage? Well, either way, Backas get... Yeah, Donster does have front wing damage. And Backas gets past both of them on the same straight. Maybe a bit of collisions between Luco and Donster. There's a V-carb in the pits, and that's Naismith immediately retiring from the session. The gap between the top 7 has not deviated in the slightest. Jessek in first place, Keir's now in second, Tino now in third, Pink Eye Penguin in fourth, Connor in fifth with the hards, Possessio in sixth, and Hayden in seventh. Heading into the hairpin, and you can see the train of cars. The cars following closely to each other, as change of strategy can definitely make it. Oh, that is the Haas of Pink Eye Penguin heading into the barriers. What's happened there? It just seemed all out of order for the Haas driver, and he's immediately got front wing damage because of that. And there's no choice. Pink Eye Penguin losing the rear again. My goodness me. It's not looking good. The Haas driver coming into the pits, he's going to be frustrated with himself for making 2 mistakes. And for the first race of the season, Keir now gets a 3-second time penalty. That's your second place man at the moment. The only driver to have a 3-second time penalty was Naismith before retiring in the pits. And now your second place man has got a time penalty. Hayden getting past Possessio. And now, the hard compound tyres, 4th and 5th for Connor and Hayden. Pink Eye Penguin goes onto the hard compound tyres. But what happened at the exit, at the start of Sector 3, it just seemed like he lost all sort of composure and losing the rear of the car. Keir's now almost losing DRS. The gap is now just under a second between the two, over a second now. Keir's now feeling a little bit bit of pressure from the cars behind. Tino is only 3 tenths away, and the gap's risen from 1 second to 1.5. Here's now, by the end of this lap, will not have the DRS anymore. And if he's not careful, he could drop down with this 3-second time penalty all the way down to 6th place. Tino Tiberian going into the first corner. There's a yellow flag. That's one of the Alpines of, I think that was Andy Mack, Gen X, and that's a Haas into the wall, and he's going perpendicular to the racetrack, and he's doing a multiple point turn. That's like a 7-point turn to try to get back onto the track. Tino under pressure from Connor. Connor going down the inside of Tino. Tino getting a 3-second time penalty. Now it's 2 drivers in the top 5 with a 3-second time penalty. Connor now looking towards him, ahead of him, for a potential move. Tino going almost defensive already. But you can see Connor just has the better pace at the moment, practically pushing that Red Bull forward in Sector 2. Hayden pushing the Mercedes in front of him. Hayden going for a move down the inside of the hairpin. It's an audacious move. Both have DRS, and they go side by side. That allows Bezestio to get involved in this battle. And it's going to be a 3-car battle for 4th place. Hayden getting past Tino Tiberian, and Bezestio hunting him down almost immediately. Tino was looking for P2. Instead, it's Connor in P2 now after DRS overtake. Jesek 3 seconds ahead of the Ferrari. And with the tyres, the hard compound tyres coming to their own now. We've seen Hayden and Connor both make moves on the same lap. The mediums are going to start to feel a little bit worse for wear. Meanwhile, down in 12th place, 11th and 10th, Donster at Backass as DBK loses the position to Pink Eye Penguin. Pink Eye Penguin going down the inside at the end of Sector 2. Hayden 2 tenths behind Kears now, going on board with the Sauber, going down the inside. Oh, and there's a bit of contact, I heard, with the Red Bull and perhaps the wall. The Sauber goes up into P3, and the Mercedes is immediately going to put the pressure onto the Red Bull. Zestio in 6th place is going to be looking towards the head. That's Tino, who has spun around immediately, and, well, Elmo has overtaken him. Aliudim overtaken. Tino now going in, well, it's perpendicular to the racetrack, has lost a lot of front wing. And, well, yeah, that front wing is gone. But Tino was 3rd, now all the way down into 9th, and probably more. The man with a 3-second time penalty already has to come into the pits. Here's with DRS. Has got a 3-second time penalty. It's lap 8 out of 31 at the moment. And Donster getting past Tino, who comes into the pits now to replace his front wing. Oh dear, it's not a good day for Mercedes. One is in the pits, the other one in 18th. Meanwhile, Jesek, pretty composed at the moment, 2.4 seconds ahead of Connor, who has overtaken his way up into P2. Tino coming out of the pits now on brand new mediums, so that means he will have to pit again regardless of how long he stays out for. And he will be behind Pink Eye Penguin, who earlier in the race had a little bit of a spin and now is fighting hella high. Pink Eye Penguin will go down the inside of turn 4 and will get the move done pretty simply. Hella high, not fighting that particularly hard. Pink Eye Penguin thanking the McLaren, but letting him by. Luco in 10th place is behind Donster at the moment. Donster not having DRS, although now is just under that threshold. And Red Bull will be hunting for some moves. At the start of this race, was struggling to keep up with the pace. Oh, we see Elmo Possessio into the pits. I mean, we saw Luco early in this race struggling to overtake, as we see that is Donster and Lellers into the pits to come off of those medium compound tires to go onto hards. Jesek still 2.5 seconds ahead on old medium compound tires. This is where the hards really are coming to their own. And, well, it seems like Connor can't do anything to catch up. Hella High gets a 3-second time penalty, who is currently in 15th place. 14th now as they get past Donster. Donster in the background. Pink Eye Penguin retiring from this session. He qualified P3, now is in the pits. He won't be taking any more parts in this race. DBK 43 getting a 3-second time penalty for track limits, presumably. Backass closing in onto Luco with DRS now. Not a good day for both of the Hasses. 18th and 19th place currently. Tino Tiberian going past Andy Mack. Andy Mack letting the Mercedes by. And the Mercedes has got more front wing damage on that car. Now, not as severe as it was before the first pit stop the Mercedes did, but still not particularly optimal on that car. Oh dear. Pink Eye Penguin leaving the session. McLaren's right behind Andy Mack at the moment, and Hella High will go down the inside. It's an easy DRS move, and Andy Mack lets both McLarens through. Backass now in the Aston Martin coming into the pits. And will be behind his teammate Lellers at the moment. Will he be behind Tino coming towards the first corner? Backass is going to be ahead of Tino at the moment, although not by much. And with Tino having to do another stop, I mean, with Tino on medium compound tyres that are heated up, it just seems like it will be an easy move for the Mercedes. The Mercedes gracefully going by, even with half a front wing pretty much. Connor catching up to the Alpine. The gap is closing in 1.4 seconds. It was 2.5 not too long ago. 2 laps ago it was 2.5. And now it's heading into DRS range for the Ferrari. The Alpine at some point has to come and make a pit stop. Jesek, one out of the only, 5 cars to not come into the pits of the medium starters, is an outlier. Connor now comfortably within DRS range, 6 tenths, and is looking for a move potentially towards the end of this lap. At which point, I'm going to do a little prediction here. Jesek comes into the pits on this lap. Although, if Jesek does want to do a one-stop, he's got to extend these mediums a little bit further. Not by too many laps, just a little bit further. That's the Mercedes of Missouri getting blue flags ahead of the Alpine. Five tenths between Connor and Jesek. Jesek, your pole sitter. Connor, who started in 5th. A different strategy may pay off for the Ferrari man, as we see Lellers and RX VMAX swapping positions. For the race lead, however, 2.5 tenths split the Ferrari and Alpine, and immediately for the Ferrari on the attack around the outside of turn 4. The Ferrari will go. Bezestia has left the session, but the drag race, it just looks easy for Connor. Practically because there's no more tyres on that Alpine. Connor has to get a little bit further of the hard compound. Ugh, what was I saying? The Alpine now will be start to drop back. Hayden 4.8 seconds away, 4.6 now. Won't be too much under pressure as Tino back into the pits. Not 3 laps later, Brazil gets a 3-second time penalty. And now Tino will be replacing that front wing and also onto the hard compound tyres, which I guess he will be trying to go to the end on. Backass right behind RXV Max going on board. RXV Max doesn't have any ERS to work with. The Aston Martin makes a simple move to get into the points playing positions. Alio did behind Elmo within DRS. Elmo doesn't have any DRS. P5 for the Williams van. But nothing. What's happening? Jacek. Still within DRS at the moment. I think I'm getting a bit of dropped frames here. This is not good for the live stream. Speaking towards the 4th wall, the stream is kind of at the moment. What's happening here? It's still running, but it's not great. Elmo and Aliodiv going side by side towards the end of sector, at the start of sector 2. Aliodiv getting the move done. Connor, 7 tenths away, 7 tenths ahead of Jacek. Jacek is doing an amazing drive to still keep with him to still keep himself within DRS range at the moment. Still under a second after 12 laps on his medias. The majority have come into the pits already, and Jacek still continues on and with the DRS. Elmo continuing on for another lap. Aliodib Kiers now into the pits. Going on to the hard compound tyres. To the end, probably. On a one stop. One stop being the fastest way to go around this track. Or, well, the majority of tracks in this game. Kiers will come out probably ahead of the Aston Martin. And so he does. Got a clear bit of track ahead of him to make up a bit of time, because he'll need to do that with the 3-second time penalty he currently has. Connor pulling out of DRS range. He'll be glad with that. Tino getting the fastest lap on fresh hard compound tyres. Currently down in P16. Not a good race back from a bit of a sabbatical, as we see Jacek finally, who was a race leader for the majority of this race so far, coming into the pits to put on a fresh set of hard compound tyres. Aliodib, the 2 Saubers are now 2 and 3 at the moment. Looking good for the Sauber cars. Elmo following Jacek to hit in on this lap. And he will be behind probably one of the Aston Martins. Will he be behind Tino, who... Oh, is that Tino? No, that's Mazur, who is lapped at the moment. So he'll get past eventually. But he is now in an Aston Martin sandwich with an Aston Martin of Backass with DRS behind. Backass is closing on the Williams, who is on cold tyres. Tino behind DBK. They go side by side. They make contact. And Tino spinning the rears and into the wall. And he's lost front wing for, I believe, this is now the third time this race. The first time, all of it. The second time, exactly the same place where it is now. Not a good day. Once again, that Mercedes really likes to, in equal cars, probably his setup, spin out the rears a little bit. Possessio losing a position to Kiers, and it seems like, if I'm not wrong, Williams is not online at the moment. Elmo now within DRS range of the Aston Martin. Into turn 3. The activation zone is now... No, not the activation zone. The detection zone is now. The activation zone is now, pretty much. And Williams will be getting past the Aston Martin. Probably the most easiest overtake the Williams has ever done. RX VMAX into the pits. So is DBK, so is Hella High. RX VMAX on 15 lap on mediums. That's a good way to finish out your stint. DBK on the equal amount of tire runners. And that is Andy. Oh, well, I thought that was Andy Mack creating a bit of yellow flags, but it's still running at the moment. Letters now out of DRS range. Had the DRS range for the moment, considering the detection zone is just before the hairpin. Nobody within DRS range now. That's a McLaren going slowly. Is it Donster? It's Donster, who is missing both end plates at the end of his front wing, and he's going way too fast. And he's just hit the wall. He is drifting and he's spinning, and he doesn't look like he's particularly happy with himself. That front wing is now completely gone and he's retired. He's crashed himself out of this race. And because of that, it's a virtual safety car, not a real one, a virtual safety car. And that has changed the course of this race, because that allows drivers like Connor, Hayden, Aliodib to come into the pits and not lose too many positions. That virtual safety car has really hampered Jacek a lot, who came just 2 laps previously onto fresh, hard compound tyres. And well, Jacek is not going to be happy with that in the slightest, unless the virtual safety car goes away now. Connor is in the pits. Hayden in the pits. The Sauber. And it's green flag going already. Aliodib continues on. Jacek, where is he? Where is Connor? Where is Jacek? Jacek coming through towards the final corner now. Connor is coming out of the pits. Jacek on the same straight. This is for the battle for the provisional race lead. Connor takes a comfortable pit stop to now go into the next race lead when Aliodib eventually comes into the pits. Connor not too far away from the Sauber at all. And Hayden on fresh medium compound tyres will be climbing up this field. He's only 3 tenths away and has a DRS on Luco. The 2 Red Bulls currently 4th and 5th. It's 4th and 6th now. How easy of a move was that? The Sauber going up into P5. Oh, Jessek, you already know in that driver brain of his, he's not going to be particularly happy that the virtual safety car came out the way that it did. The McLaren basically retiring himself, crashing into the wall multiple times to get rid of that front right wheel. Meanwhile, the 2 teammates of Backus and Lellers are together. They've always been pretty much together on the same racetrack. The 2 Aston Martins currently having a double points finish. So are the 2 Williams, so are the 2 Red Bulls and the Saubers as well. Aliodib finally chooses this time to come into the pits. Connor is now your new race leader. He has to spend 13 laps on the mediums, which is, let's be honest, not too hard to do. And Jessek, well, on the hard compound tyres, there's not much he can really do in terms of pace. He's just got to hope that Connor's tyres wear out pretty fast. Otherwise, he has not much of a chance of winning this race. Meanwhile, the Aston Martins, because Backus is in the pits, but on 8-lap-old hards, he chooses to come into the pits because he's got front wing damage. Oh dear. Elmo behind Bezestio. Bezestio is finally back in the lobby. And Bezestio in P6. They're both not too far away from Luco's at the moment. That's an Alpine of Andy Mack with blue flags. And Bezestio now 5 tenths away from the Red Bull. Luco has been on those tyres since the first lap. Those old hard compound tyres. They're going to be screaming by the time he comes into the pits. He's probably going to come in towards the end of this lap, considering that after this lap there's only 12 laps to go. Hella high into the pits onto medium compound tyres. Bezestio with DRS. Luco can't really do anything about it. The Williams goes very deep, but still managed to get the move done. How has he done that? That car looked like it was heading towards Narnia, but they go side by side, and the Red Bull continues. Oh, I thought he would be pitting, but that allows Elmo to get past. Both Williams getting past the Red Bull, and now Elmo is going to look towards the front of his car to see a different liveried Williams, to be fair. But he would like to get past nevertheless. Elmo with DRS behind his teammate, and the teammate Bezestio lets him past. Elmo with 5-lap-old hards, 6 laps fresher than Bezestio's, now in P5. Nemo getting a 3-second time penalty. Leller's now coming into the box. And he's just behind his teammate. It seems like, despite pitting, the Aston Martins have not lost a position. So, honestly, yeah, fair enough. Tino coming into the pits again. What's happened here? Does he feel like that there's no more point in continuing on with this race, or is he just going to go for the fastest lap? He is. There are some softs waiting for him at the box, and for funsies, he probably thinks, I'm just going to go do some quali laps. You know what? Fair enough, honestly. Hayden in P4 setting the fastest lap on those brand new mediums he put on during the virtual safety car. He doesn't need to overtake the Red Bull, considering the fact that the Kiers now has a 3-second time penalty. But he's going to want to do it nevertheless. Bezestio and Luco come into the pits, the Williams, and the Sauber not particularly using the IRS to get a move done. But he is gaining with every single corner just due to the nature of the tyre performance differences. Luco comes out of the pits. He will be behind one of the Aston Martins. Backass just gets ahead of the Red Bull. Now, both Aston Martins are on hards. The Red Bull is on mediums. So, just by tyre performance difference, the Red Bull definitely has the advantage here. Kears now and Hayden swap positions. The Sauber back into the podium, has got 7.6 seconds ahead to catch up to Jesek. In that time, yellow flags. That is the McLaren of Hella High in the wall. And he's stopped, and that's induced another virtual safety car. And, well, that's just happened. Both McLarens now setting... Oh, Andy Mack has now got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. Hella high into the pits. And let's see, because, well, if you're looking at DBK, he's got RX VMAX behind him, and they're practically going side by side. This is the virtual safety car, lads. Just take it easy, yeah? Jesus Christ. My goodness me, it's the virtual safety car. Don't be overtaking in the Delta. Nemo into the pits. Kears now 5, 6, 7 attempts, 8 attempts behind the Sauber. I don't think anybody can use a safety car to, in the top 10 at least, to take advantage of it. Luco had just pitted a lap earlier than the virtual safety car. So he's going to feel pretty miffed that that's just happened. And while it's not a full one, Nemo gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, virtual safety car. So two drivers, Andy Mack and Nemo, both having drive-through penalties. My goodness me. Hella high onto soft compound tyres, Tino on soft compound tyres. Oh, and that's Kears now heading towards the barrier. And he's made contact with it. Lelis and Luco swapping positions, and they go side by side at the exit of the hairpin. And now both Aston Martins, even with inferior tyres, winning out the battle against one of the Red Bulls. Bit of lag with the Aston Martin, oh dear me. But nevertheless, it's happened. Here's now, still within DRS despite that 3-second time penalty. He does have a decently large gap to Elmo, so regardless with what happens in the last 8 laps, unless he goes for a completely massive mistake, he'll stay in P4. Pretty much. Hella high with a 3-second time penalty. Andy Mack retiring from this session. No more part in this race. Had the drive-through penalty. Doesn't want to serve it. Which, honestly, fair enough. Nemo has to do that drive-through penalty, which they are doing at the moment. Lelis and Backass getting really close to one another. That will allow Luco to come back into the fray. And the Aston Martino setting the fastest lap, unsurprisingly, on fresh soft compound tyres. Yeah, both Hella High and Tino practically doing qualifying battle wars at the moment for the fastest lap. The two Aston Martins, close to each other on the racetrack. Rule number 1 of racing, don't hit your teammate. both Aston Martins, do have a Red Bull behind on fresh mediums. They don't want anything to do with that Red Bull. They've got a double points finish at the moment. Don't ruin this, please, for the love of God. Sorry to Nemo. He came through behind the leads. I didn't know he was behind me. I see. The Aston Martins. Orderly is probably the best way to describe it at the moment. If they just stay like this, it'll be a pretty good result for Aston Martin. The Red Bull hitting the wall somewhere, and Leller's still hanging behind his teammate. 8 seconds in front is Bizesio on the Williams. Williams having a 5th and 7th position at the moment. Piers now has left the session. That was your P4 man. He's left the session. And I'm just going to invite him real quick. Why has this happened? Oh my god, please. Alright, thank you. Go. Tino retiring from the session after seeing a qualifying lap. No longer wants any parts in this. Oh my god. Alright, we're back. Wait, oh no. For the... Please, please, please. I don't want anything to break. Luco, Lellers. The Aston Martins are still so close to one another, with 5-6 laps remaining, and the Aston Martin just has no cornering, and it's a virtual safety car for the, what is it, the 1000th time in a row, because Lellers has gone slowly. I mean, no, Hella High has lost a front wing. This is not a good showing. There's too many virtual safety cars now, and yeah, this is, I'm not too impressed by the driving standards at the moment. Backas, Lellers and Luco still within so close to one another. And Connor is still in the race lead. And he continues on, so does Jessic. Hayden will probably continue on. He does. Piers is still disconnected. Elmo in P5. Mizor gets a drive-through penalty for speeding onto the virtual safety car. That's the third car that has got a drive-through penalty, and well, Mizor coming into the pits, he's been lapped for literally every single car by now, to be honest. But we'll still continue on. The Aston Martins are still millimeters from each other, it feels like, and they're still ahead of the two, ahead of the Red Bull at least. And they continue on. That is Hella High into the pits. Mizor into doing a drive-through at the moment. 5 laps left to go. The two Aston Martins. Jesus Christ, lads. They've battled like this before. They once, when they've been passes. You've been kicked? Yeah, you've been kicked. You got disconnected. I sent an invite out. Backas and Lellers side by side. This is watching from the perspective of the Red Bull. Lellers ahead of Backas still. And the Aston Martins are still both ahead. Not too much battling out there except for the Astons. with 4 laps left to go. Connor, basically, once again, last season's champion, is leading this race. Although Jessic, without that virtual safety car happening, it would have been the race win for him. Luco 2 tenths behind. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. That's one. Is that the McLaren again? Why the McLaren is still... What's going on here? My goodness me. Mazur comes out of the pits again and gets a 10-second time penalty for exiting the... dear me. Okay. The Aston Martins now still really close to one another. Elmo and Aliodib swapping positions. What's happened to Elmo? Elmo has lost an entire front wing with 3 laps to go. And now, well, he may lose a lot of time. The next car after his teammate is... well, 8 seconds behind. Hella High retiring, and that's an actual safety car now. What is going on? Why are the McLarens have just crashed so many times? That's ridiculous. The McLarens have crashed too many times. That's ridiculous. And that's an actual safety car now. I'm not too happy with that. RXV Max gets a drive-through penalty or speeding under the safety car. Why is it... why safety cars for just... Connor comes into the pits. Jessic into the pits. RXV Max gets another drive-through. Hayden continues on to stay in P1, chooses track position instead of coming into the pits. Kier's now into the pits. Aliodib, what does he choose? Aliodib will come into the pits. Elmo, this is a lifesaver for him. He had a lot of damage, but he continues on anyway. Zestio continues on and gets ahead of Aliodib and Elmo. Both Aston Martins decide to continue. They're on okay amount of tyre life on the hard compound tyres, so it's not too much of a surprise for them. But what doesn't really make sense to me is that if the Aston Martins pit, they would have been 9th and 10th anyway, considering the fact that, well, DBK is stuck in the safety car. Safety car in this lap, and DBK is getting a little bit too hot under the collar. Has got a bit of front wing damage as well. Hayden will be for the restart. There's only, what is that, 5 cars in the safety car window at the moment. Hayden being your de facto safety car. He's going to get completely swallowed up. That's a Haas ahead of the Ferrari. That's Nemo, who is stuck behind the Sauber because he's lapped. And the Sauber waiting. Where does he go? When does he choose to go? And the Sauber chooses now to go, and Connor is now on the hunt. This is the penultimate lap of racing. And Connor has to get past the Sauber if he wants to take this win. Now he's immediately closed up the Ferrari, going down the inside turn for a bit of a collision between this Ferrari and Sauber. Jacek takes his opportunity to get past. Missouri gets a 3-second time penalty. And now Jacek has an equal opportunity to go for the win. He lost the win due to a virtual safety car before that was caused by one of the McLarens crashing on purpose. But now it's going to be a hunt down to the finish between the two leaders. Hayden losing third place at the moment. It's going side by side. The Sauber and the Red Bull. The Sauber losing a position. But Kirsnell does have a 3-second time penalty, so that will probably drop down towards the end of this race. Bizesio is 5.7 seconds away. Jacek, with an ultimate lap of racing, is 5 tenths from the race lead. Lost it during a badly timed virtual safety car, which really lost him the lead. And heading towards the final lap now. The IRS is enabled, and this will allow the Alpine to catch up in the straights. It's going to be so close, but it seems like the Ferrari just has the advantage of track position. Singapore has been notoriously hard to overtake. Jacek closing down very quickly. And it's just... Let's have a look at Aliodib, who gets past side by side with Bizestio. Bizestio missing a front wing. That's a Sauber 4 and 5 at the moment. Three tenths of a second between the race leaders. And it seems like to be a hunt down to the finish. The Alpine has DRS on the Ferrari. And it's going to be side by side into the final couple of corners. Jacek, this is the one and only opportunity he can do to get past for the race lead. Isn't able to make it work. And that means for the first race of the season, Connor, last season's champion, will take the race win. Jacek will follow. Kiers now in third place. Hayden couldn't get close enough to get into the podium. It's 3 tenths away at the end of the race. And will stay in fourth. Aliodip in fifth. Bezestio in sixth. Lellers and Bacchus will do very, very well to stay out and come with P7, P8. Luco in P9 and Elmo will be the final one to come across the line in the top 10 to finish in P10. RXV Max will be the final one to come across the line now. And it's going to be P12. Connor, your race winner. Jacek in P2. Piers in P3. Hayden in P4. Aliodin in P5. That's your top 5. Couple of drivers with penalties. My goodness me. Just the P11, I think that is, down to P16. Well, P15 and P16 are both DNF'd, but that is your race. Connor, last season's champion, getting away with a good start with 25 more points. And we will see you all next week. Let's just see where it will be. Abu Dhabi for the next race. Same layout as it usually is. Short qualifying and a 50% race. That's your driver's standings at the moment, because that is our first race of the season. of season 14. Thank you very much for watching. My name has been Jarvis Coyd, and have a good rest of your day.